Welcome to Fox College Football, powered by Ram Trucks, built to serve. And welcome to Norman, Oklahoma, as the 9th-ranked Sooners take the field, ready to go against TCU. And Oklahoma somehow at 9-1, 6-1 in the conference after the biggest comeback in program history.
Baylor leads 27-3 over Oklahoma.
Weiss has it. Takes it away a guy. 5-1 touchdown. Braden Willis. Oh, mama. They've come all the way back. Kick is away, and it is good. Oklahoma on top. Intercepted. And the Sooners' playoff hopes are still alive.
Joe Davis, Brock Hewitt, Bruce Feldman joins us in a moment. And so with a win tonight, they're in the Big 12 championship game. They still have a glimmer of hope when it comes to the college football playoff. But as they try to make their case to the committee, they're trying to play a complete game.
Yeah, 4 quarters. I mean, we were here a couple weeks ago. It came down to the 2-point conversion. They had to spend so much energy last week. And what a remarkable game. We all watched it. What a comeback. The greatest in the history of their school. And I know what I'll be watching tonight. Just their energy level. Just the emotion. Can it rise back up? 13 seniors will play their final game in this building. I do think that helps. A quarterback with a high sense of urgency, that helps. But emotions, I'll be watching them tonight.
Made that comeback without one of their best players, without one of the best players in the country in C.D. Lamb. And for the latest on his status, here's Bruce.
Hey, Joe, Oklahoma's going to get a huge boost tonight getting C.D. Lamb back. Sources tell me he missed the game last week while going through concussion protocol. He was cleared earlier this week. Now, last week they got a big boost from Lee Morris and Theo Weiss, who really stepped up, but the Sooners are thrilled to have their star receiver back. Nobody more so than Jalen Hurts. He told me this guy is such a phenomenal playmaker and is so great with the ball in his hands. We think he's a special talent.
Yeah, so Jalen, no doubt a happy guy getting him back. I know you're a happy guy getting to watch both these quarterbacks, not just the senior and Jalen Hurts, but the freshman on the other side, Max Duggan.
Yeah, really 2 systems here, very similar, and there's so much responsibility on the quarterback. 42 passing attempts, 27 rushes for Jalen a week ago. I have not seen a quarterback take that level of punishment and dish it out, I think really since the days of Tim Tebow when he won a Heisman way back when in 07 with the Florida Gators. And on the other side, you're going to see a true freshman that will use his legs. Max Duggan, we saw him beat Texas a month ago. He's playing his best ball. He played his very best game, in fact, a week ago. And I know that Sonny Cumbie and Gary Patterson have asked him tonight to be equally aggressive, to use his legs when he can, because that's been an area of Oklahoma defensively at times has struggled with.
So Oklahoma can clinch a spot in the Big 12 championship with a win. It would be a rematch with Baylor taking care of business against Texas earlier to clinch their spot. Oklahoma trying to continue to make its case for the playoff. TCU tries to reach bowl eligibility tonight. They've gone to a bowl game 16 of the 18 years under Gary Patterson and trying to get their first top 10 road win since 2011. Horned Frogs won the toss. They'll receive, and off we go from Norman. For a catch coming to the 6, and so TCU to begin at the 25-yard line. Their quarterback is a true freshman, and Max Duggan out of Council Bluffs, Iowa. Took over the starting job week 3 after Alex Delton held it for the first couple of weeks. Duggan's been really good weapon for them, not just throwing the ball but running it. And coming off a career day, 75 rushing yards with a touchdown and 323 yards passing. A couple of touchdowns in that win against Texas Tech.
He is just Iowa tough, man. 190 pounds, and he's taken a lot of licks. There's some moving pieces in front of him, but the kid has never blinked in this opportunity.
They open this one with a Darius Anderson run, and he gets pummeled by Delarian Turner-Yell. And part of this Oklahoma defense kind of been a riddle this season. Really good at times, really bad at others. This group was really good in the second half last week.
Particular Ronnie Perkins with 4 tackles for loss and 3 sacks was just unblockable down in Waco. Kenneth Murray, they just want him to cut it loose, just to take care of his responsibility. Maybe feel like he's trying to carry too much of the load. And on the back end, Parnell Motley, 5 career interceptions. Has got to find a way to take the ball away.
Opening drive, TCU, 2nd down 15. Duggan back to throw to the sideline. There's Jalen Rager, but incomplete. So 3rd down and 20. You know, it's an Oklahoma defense 0 in the second half last week, but gave up 31 in the first half. Game before that gave up 41 to Iowa State, 48 in the loss against Kansas State after they had made such great strides over the first month and a half or so.
Yeah, and I like the way Coach Grinch talked about it, just some scar tissue from some years of struggle the first 7 weeks. Well, they thought they got rid of a lot of those errors, but not necessarily the case the last month. Been really struggling as much from the neck up as anywhere else.
Now, you mentioned it, the message this week to his group, do your job, but only your job. He thought too many guys tried to do too much in the first half in Waco. That's hit at the line of scrimmage and incomplete. Couple of penalties ruined TCU's first drive, and the punt team comes out on 4th and 20.
I think it was Jalen Redmond here right in the middle that gets his hands up. You see the stunt, just a 3-man rush. And when you're rushing only 3 and you can't get home to get your hands up, that's exactly what Redmond does and exactly what the doctor ordered for Oklahoma with the 3 and out.
That is something that they've done pretty consistently, even with the ups and downs this season. First drive, they're now 12 for 12, stopping the opposition. It is CeeDee Lamb. Lamb makes the first man miss and brings it to the 47. And so we get our first look at this Oklahoma offense, one of the best in the country, led by that man in Jalen Hurts. Rallied to get 34 last week. 20th consecutive game they've done that, scoring on each of the last 5 drives against the #1 defense in the Big 12 in Baylor. And they are led by the senior transfer, Jalen Hurts. Is the most efficient passer in the country, 2nd leading rusher in the conference. Season high 4 touchdowns passing last week, overcoming those 3 turnovers. First Oklahoma play from the 48-yard line. Kennedy Brooks with a gain of 2.
An offensive line that also has a few moving pieces. Not Creed Humphrey. He is the anchor right in the middle. He is the voice. But R.J. Proctor getting the start tonight ahead of Eric Swinson at left tackle. We saw CeeDee Lamb back there returning punts. I was curious after some of the contact he took in the game we called with Iowa State whether or not he would be back returning punts. He was. And expect number 2 to get the ball in his hands in multiple different ways.
He's the motion man here. Brooks again. Stiff arm Scott. Able to turn the corner. Bumped out by one of the 5 freshmen in this starting lineup for TCU, Wyatt Harris.
One of those that's not a freshman that is a grown man is Ross Blacklock right in the middle. 2nd in the Big 12 and quarterback hurries. Strength of this group defensively has been their interior play. Garrett Wallow 2nd in the conference in total tackles and tackles for loss. Very active middle linebacker. And Trayvon Merrick is one of my favorite safeties to watch in college football. 4 picks this year. Always finds a way to get around the football, does number 7.
It always seems like TCU, no matter the record, defense is going to be tough, led by Gary Patterson, #1 in total D in the conference. But a 3rd down conversion against that group here. It's Lee Morris, who had 7 receptions last week. Went into the game with 8 total and came up big with CeeDee Lamb out. We look at a matchup of strength against strength when Oklahoma has the ball.
And really one of the reasons OU #1 in the country is that down right there. They're also #1. Jalen usually does it with his legs, but more than capable of spraying it around in the passing game. And if you don't get him off the field on 3rd down, they are going to tear you apart.
Got the true freshman Stewart on Lamb at the top of the screen. It's a run play. Brooks steps out of a tackle. He's got a 1st down inside the 15. Darius Washington pushes him out.
To my point
of 14.
Sorry, Joe. To my point about interchangeable parts at the top of the screen here. That's Jeremiah Hall. Is he a fullback? Is he a tight end? I don't know. He's blocking a true freshman defensive end one-on-one and setting that edge. You know what else you notice? 5 of the 6 plays, a little bit of motion. Lincoln Riley loves to change formations on Gary Patterson, force those defensive calls, and look at this little running back set.
Yeah, not one you're going to be used to seeing with a receiver in Charleston Rambo. As the tailback, they motion him out. On 1st and 10, Brooks again. Another couple of broken tackles before Washington brings him down.
So 6 of 7 plays you have seen some form of motion against Ardarius Washington and this Horned Frog crew. And the reason you do that is because that forces the Horned Frogs to change some of their defensive calls. Make some of those late adjustments. So Gary Patterson's over there trying to defeat every single play. With every formation and every look, he signals into his guys defensively. And that late motion forces even more communication.
2nd down. It's Hurts looking to run. Jalen Hurts lowers the shoulder, reaches for the goal line. He's in for the Oklahoma touchdown.
Well, Julius Lewis, the corner, tried. He tried to tackle those legs. You're going to see 24 come in at the end of the play. He said, Coach, I went for the legs. The problem is that power lifter runs even right through that broken tackle as well. The dude just loves to run. 27 times a week ago in Waco to lead the biggest comeback in Sooner history. And he knows the threat he is, whether it's fourth down or down in the red zone. One of the most difficult runners in all of college football to bring down.
You mentioned he's a power lifter. Lincoln Riley says, yeah, he's strong. He knows he's strong, and he takes a lot of confidence from that. Gets his 14th rushing touchdown of the year there. And he moves over 1,000 yards for the season on that drive. Really a continuation of what Oklahoma did in the comeback in Waco. A long touchdown drive and an early 7-0 lead. Another touchback, and Max Duggan in this Horned Frogs offense in a hole. Will have it at the 25-yard line. TCU's second drive begins at the 25-yard line.
And Tay Barber in the backfield.
He swings out. Duggan looks his direction, then retreats with the pocket collapsing. Can't get around Kenneth Murray. Able to drop him for a loss of 4. We talked about the message, do your job, only your job. That was pointed partially at their leader, Kenneth Murray.
And he's right in the middle. He's got eyes on Max Duggan the entire way. And Oklahoma mixed it up a little bit this week. And Alex Grinch said they were not off the practice field until they had a 3-and-out. 3 positive reps for that first string defense. It didn't matter how many it took during practice to really try to emphasize you just need 3 great snaps to get yourself off the field, and a tackle like that sure helps.
Second and long. Duggan keeps, short gain. He slides down with Parnell Motley bearing down on him.
And Grinch has seen effort like this over the, we mentioned the first 7 weeks of the season. They played some complete defensive games. And even over the last 3 weeks, they've had stretches like the second half in Waco last week where it was a totally different team. And just trying to get this team to translate from Tuesday and Wednesday on the practice field, that execution they're seeing there to get it done on game night through 4 quarters, that's a challenge here in November.
With a 3-and-out in the first drive, they've got TCU 3rd and 15 here. They bring an extra man. Duggan able to slip him momentarily, but then goes down. And Jalen Redmond, who knocked the ball down in the first drive, gets the sack here.
And that is just a perfectly timed stunt. You're going to see Redmond. He's going to track here. He's going to allow all of that traffic. It's kind of like a passing route where you run a pick play, right? And you run everybody, all that traffic, and then you get somebody free. Watch Redmond. He has all that tidal wave of just massive humanity, and then he comes and finishes and cleans it up for his 4th sack of the season.
Came here as a defensive end. He's played mostly defensive tackle, but can use him in a variety of ways up front. This punt, not a good one from Jordy Sandy. Takes a decent roll, though, down near the 35. Oh, perfect start for Oklahoma. 3-and-out, touchdown, 3-and-out, and they'll have it again after this. Jalen Hurts, something special this season, moving over 1,000 yards on the previous drive, and you got a pretty lofty comparison here.
Just last week, he put this team on his shoulders, 27 rushing attempts. So I was curious in Tebow's Heisman year in 07 through 10 games, and you see the numbers there. I mean, just unapologetic about the number of times you're going to just pound the football. A little more explosiveness from Jalen, but both so willing to do whatever it takes. I think that's what I love about number 1 as much as anything else.
Fakes the CeeDee Lamb on the first play of the drive here. He runs again and has a hole for a first down. Yeah, we asked Lincoln Riley yesterday, had somebody told you that he would be the leading rusher by this amount, that he'd be running the ball 27 times in a game, on average 15 times a game, Lincoln would have said, I think he's going to run more than Baker Mayfield or Kyler Murray, but no way I saw this coming.
70 more attempts than anybody on the team, over 1,000 yards now. But you know what else Lincoln said at the end of that conversation? I kind of like when he runs. Even when that visor comes popping off his face mask as it did a week ago.
Boy, Baylor flies around, don't they? They hit you. Bubbled it outside. Rambo getting a block from Basquin and getting pulled down. It looked like by his face mask. And apparently it was by the shoulder pad. Let's go down to Bruce Feldman.
Joe, about that relationship with Lincoln Riley and Jalen Hurts. In the break after the first touchdown drive, Jalen Hurts went up to Lincoln Riley and said he really felt like TCU's edge rushers were susceptible to some fakes, and it looked like Lincoln Riley listened, and that was the first thing we saw on this drive to open it up.
Lincoln Riley told Jalen Hurts a few weeks ago, look, I don't have 3 years to get to know you. You got to communicate with me. You've got to be open so I can understand you. And more he is being open with his head coach. Hands it off here. Kennedy Brooks, first down and more. All the way to the 36 on a gain of 14.
And you become the #1 offense in America year after year after year, as Lincoln has, because you utilize the different tools, right? And the different roles that guys have. And if you want to come out and run the ball like this, fine. And I think that's where Jalen is such a great fit. He started 38 games, and he doesn't really care. He's not just trying to impress the NFL. He's just trying to win and dominate. And if it means run for 150+ yards a game, fine.
Hurts keeps it again with a pump fake, gets free, cuts it against the grain, slides his way to the 20. 18 more for Jalen Hurts.
How many times do we need to see that move? This is Ben Wilson, the middle linebacker with the long hair, and just a crossover. Right? And another crossover. And you could talk all you want about wanting to tackle this guy like a running back, but you can't even lay a hand on him. That being both Wilson, the linebacker, and even Merrick, the safety, both of them left reaching for air.
Pump fake works every time. You could have even gotten free with a pump fake. No, maybe pushing it. First down from the 20. Looking to throw this time. Eyes on the end zone. He goes for Braden Willis. First down and goal, Oklahoma. Oh, he's in. They say that he broke the plane for the touchdown.
Just a corner route and a big old tight end. Got his first career touchdown pass a week ago. Goes up on the senior corner, and Jalen puts it in the exact right spot. There's no body part down. That's touchdown. Wow.
Now 8 catches on the season for Braden Willis, 2 of them for touchdowns. You mentioned the first of his career last week, tied the game, completed that comeback against Baylor. The game they once trailed 28-3. They've continued the momentum that they gathered. You asked the question, what's the energy going to be like? Is there going to be a letdown from exerting so much, or do you build off of it? So far, you've gotten your answer.
Yeah, very much the latter.
Jay Burkich still perfect this season on all point afters and field goals, and it's 14-0 just like that. Braden Willis getting in, and look at that line in yellow there. 131-35, the scoring margin in the first quarter this year for Oklahoma.
That's called scripting for some success. And it's also called getting all your different pieces involved, and I think the Sooners did a wonderful job of that tonight.
Whole lot better start in the hole they found themselves in against Waco last week. A lot of pre-snap movement up front, per usual from Oklahoma. First down 15. Duggan delivers to the short side for Rager, but it's incomplete with the coverage from Parnell Motley. Take a look at the one to watch, sponsored by Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side. Rager, the headliner in terms of the receivers, but Tay Barber, who missed most of the first 5 games of the hamstring injury, really has started to come on since he's gotten healthy.
You can just feel the trust that Max Duggan has in him, especially on third downs. But the problem is the third downs have not been anywhere near manageable, and if they don't get anything here on this second down, they'll be staring down the same thing. Not able to utilize his talents.
Barber's the motion man on 2nd and 15 with a deep drop. Duggan looks to set up the screen, and Kenneth Murray identifies and explodes.
Wow. Yeah, your left tackle, Cordell Wagwu and Anthony McKinney. This is a 2-on-1, and you're going to see Murray, to your point, Joe, diagnose it. He watches those linemen get out, but here's the key, splitting those two right there.
You block him, that's a huge game.
Huge. And that is to Alex Grinch's point. Do your job, only your job, and then the final part of that messaging, cut it loose.
Yeah,
exactly what Kenny does right there.
Third and a mile again, 3rd and 17 for the Horned Frogs. A twist up front, able to flush Duggan again. Throws on the move to Valence Hunt, but needed a whole lot more than that. Kenneth Murray guided him out of bounds, and another 3 and out.
Wow. This is a group on the season, just 35 3 and outs through 10 games. About 3.5 a game. And for Sonny Cumby, he knows you just can't play uphill in this building. You got no chance. Very little the true freshman could do in that situation. The block in the back, 2 linemen that allow a linebacker to split right between them. And you live in 3rd and 10 plus against the speed of this group defensively, you're going to be in trouble.
3rd punt for Jordy Sandy, 26-year-old freshman from Australia. His best one of the night. Back slam inside the 20. It's Brooks on 1st down. Was he worried that they were banging trash cans down in the tunnel? And
yeah, stealing signals is kind of prominent right now in the sports world, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, it's gamesmanship. And Gary said, hey, man, during the course of a season, a game, if you can get my signals, that's on me. It felt like some of these teams with a lot of familiarity were getting a beat on him in season and really studying him up and wanted to mix up that coding and the signaling. So the Lincoln's crew and staff and the eyes that are on him can't get in read.
Bunch of pre-snap movement again for Lincoln Riley's group. Over the middle, there is Charleston Rambo for an Oklahoma 1st down. Down to Bruce Feldman.
Joe, Brock's talking about mixing things up with the signals. The thing that's getting mixed up is these young TCU defenders. Their heads are spinning right now, being down on their sideline. They've struggled with pre-snap movement really all season, but even more so tonight. It's just like right now, they're really struggling with the signals, and they just don't seem like they have a real handle on what Gary's looking for right now.
Well, they're so hard, Bruce, because the personnel changes, the movement, the formation changes. I mean, you're talking about high-level stuff that Oklahoma, again, look at that motion.
Brooks slips through. 1st down near midfield.
And what is every D coordinator? What was the 3rd messaging for Alex Grinch to cut it loose? Every D coordinator, and Gary Patterson been doing it a long time, wants his guys to just react and to cut it loose and let it go. But when you're out there and you're thinking and you're trying to process, and you have 5 freshmen and redshirt freshmen playing on that side of the ball, and you're a step slow against these guys, you got no chance.
And you understand why he's changing the signs if he thinks that they've been compromised. But at the same time, doesn't that probably add a whole nother layer to what you got to think about? Again, Rambo in the backfield. They motion him out. Hurts. It's driven down at the 25 by our Darius Washington.
And there's the textbook tackle that the coach from Fort Worth wanted to see on Jalen Hurts. Get to those legs. Try to stop him before he can ever run you over.
1st quarter comes to a close. Oklahoma outgaining TCU 184-3 and leading 14-0 as we go to the 2nd on Fox. The dominant 1st quarter for Oklahoma. We talk about them needing to play a complete game in terms of 4 quarters. How about a complete game in terms of offense and defense? Well, in that 1st quarter, they limit TCU to just 3 yards. Open the 2nd with a 2nd and 4 run. Kennedy Brooks, another 1st down.
Well, it's about average, another 9 yards. And you saw the number there. Leading the country 8.8. That would be a new record in the history of college football. A season ago, Kyler Murray and crew set it at 8.6 yards a play. You've seen it kind of come down and get awfully close, about 8.8 coming into tonight. And just a dominant first 15 minutes.
Again, it's Brooks. Got around Ben Wilson. Keon Stewart, true freshman, making the start with Jeff Gladney not in there. Some post-play pushing. Jaden Hazelwood in there, along with a few others. It'll be 2nd down.
Surprised not see a penalty flag come out here. A little shoving with our Darius Washington at the end of the play. And a wholesale commitment to this run game for the Sooners. You see the two mix it up, and Jaden throws a little. I guess he's just maybe trying to get the hands off. One of the challenges for TCU tonight is this offense has had its way with the Horned Frogs when they've had elite edge defenders. And right now, the redshirt freshman, the true freshman, the junior college transfer, that edge of the defense is just being decimated by the Sooners.
Hurts swings it to Rambo, looking for the corner. He's inside the 5, and it's 1st and goal for Oklahoma. They graduated to the NFL, Ben Banigou, L.J. Collier, and there's been a big drop-off in terms of production from that defensive end spot.
Huge. And this is a crew that really relies on those 4 guys, so the other 7, Gary can move around and shuffle around and play all sorts of different coverages, but if you can't set the edge and you don't get home, that's a bad combination against Jalen Hurts. And right now, he is, after a week where he took a ton of punishment against Baylor, he's hardly been touched tonight.
He's already run for 54 yards. He's thrown for 87. Here on 1st and goal. He fakes it and zips a slant behind Lamb. He had him for a touchdown, but missed him. Lamb had beaten Keon Stewart.
And CD's like, come on, man. I missed last week. I didn't get anything. I didn't get my 14th touchdown. So a little play action. It really doesn't get much easier than that, other than the hands that you have to navigate on that throw. But CD's like, come on, man. I want my touches and my touchdowns too.
There's 13 touchdowns, most in Power 5, 2nd overall in the country for the junior from Richmond, Texas. On 2nd and goal to the end zone. This time they do connect. CeeDee Lamb, his 14th touchdown of the year.
Yeah, that's just not fair. That's one of the country's best wide receivers against a true freshman. Keon Stewart is playing because Jeff Gladney has been suspended for the first half. He had a targeting call last week. Too much space, too much cushion, and too good a connection between Jalen and CD. That's almost a little smile on Lincoln Riley's face right now.
You blame him?
Nope, he likes us. He likes going up against Gary. Really feels like it tests him, brings out his best. It's brought out his offense's best here early.
Looking a whole lot more like the 2nd half version of the Sooners in Waco last week. 3 drives, 3 touchdowns, 21-0. The 9th-ranked Sooners up big.
I'll get you, and as long as Gladney's not on this field and we get to pick on a true freshman, and that's really what we're feeling here. I mean, you're seeing just some grown men played a lot of ball on that Oklahoma offensive side against 5 true freshmen, redshirt freshmen right now that are just spinning.
Saw now 3 consecutive quarters without giving anything up after they gave up 51 over a 3-quarter stretch. Tay Barber gets the reception, pushed out of bounds by Pat Fields. He said that this week he asked the question to a few guys, just kind of a little quiz. Okay, the score is 14-7. What is your job? And he said if their response was who's winning, say no, you don't get it. It doesn't matter what the score is. You've got to play the same way. We're hoping to keep the pedal down with a 21-0 lead. Fake to Barber. Darius Anderson. 2nd and 8.
Yeah, I think really the emphasis, that guy up in New England, I think he trademarked do your job. I think Mr. Belichick's got that one. But Alex Grinch really felt like he had to add to it. Not just do your job, only your job.
Again, they run outside. Duggan has a seam this time and has a 1st down and then some. Breaking into the clear, showing off the speed, and Duggan is inside the 10. Pat Fields tracks him down after a 59-yard run.
Well, I was half right. Artavius Lynn, 88. Watch him here get out and set the block. That was the positive. And I guess it was a little north and south about right there. When Max Duggan just turns on the Jets, man, this kid can go. As you see Caleb Kelly, 19, he's in the game there playing a little linebacker for the first time this season. But Max Duggan has shown you over the course of the 2nd half of this season, he is the one that should be nicknamed Jets. And this should be, I'm surprised I didn't see a little horse collar. I guess they deemed that action didn't directly pull him down. Otherwise, you'd have seen that penalty.
And Fields comes out of the game, looks like injured. TCU had moved the ball past its own 40 prior to that play. Now they've got it 1st and goal at the Oklahoma 6.
A little check with me here for Duggan at the line of scrimmage.
Lynn still in there at tight end. Anderson at running back. On 1st and goal, it is Darius Anderson. He reaches and gets bumped out of bounds at the 1. That is Caleb Kelly, who you mentioned a moment ago, making his season debut. Injured his knee in the spring. Guy that's been a starter in 3 seasons at Oklahoma. It was a big loss for them in the spring, but he worked his way back and played with that 4-game rule, redshirt rule. Still can preserve it. But making the debut tonight. 2nd and goal from the 1. They bring the 240-pounder Alana Lua into the Wildcat. Here he comes. He's in. Touchdown, Horned Frogs.
That was a really nice job by the left guard, the captain, Cordell Awagwu. And really on this drive, it was a statement drive by that offensive line, by McKinney, by Awagwu, by McMillan, the center, for those guys to just get to the 2nd level. At least give your guys an opportunity, be it Duggan, be it the 240-pound hammer, Alana Lua. You got to give them a chance by at least getting a body on a body, and the Horned Frogs certainly did that in the touchdown drive.
At 17 yards on 14 plays prior to this drive, they go 68 yards in 3 plays here. The key play, of course, true freshman Max Duggan runs close to 60 on the speed option play, able to break it loose and set up Alana Lua for the short touchdown run. Well, TCU on the board. 21-7 as Alana Lua gets in.
You'd like to ask me when I come back from the field, well, what'd you see down there? And I think I said to you, my first thing,
a lot of Shawo.
That dude is a monster. You could see why Gary Patterson has tried to recruit him to play defense in his time at TCU. Because Alana Lua is every bit of 240 pounds.
On Bruce's freaks list, he squats 770, benches a couple of Brock. Bouncing kick taken by Trey Brown. Brown gets pulled down by Nook Bradford at the 23. Stevenson again, running hard. Ramondre Stevenson getting more and more time with Trey Sermon lost for the season. This is a guy who ran for more than 2,000 yards at the junior college level last year. Models his game after Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah, he is 236 pounds. That if you get started, as you've seen on this drive, you're not going to stop him. Look at that rush per average. Nuts.
Right about where Oklahoma is as a team per play. Jaden Hazelwood, the #1 wide receiver commit in the country, lost the football, and TCU's got it. Trayvon Merrick forced the fumble, and Vernon Scott recovered it. That is vice versa, the combination that ended the game against Texas Tech last week.
Trayvon Merrick, I talked to you in the open, 4 picks. But that doesn't tell the story. That guy is just constantly around the football. In fact, Pro Football Focus has him graded the #1 coverage safety in America. And you see a heads-up play by the senior Scott, and all of a sudden, this is what the Sooners have done the last few weeks. They look brilliant. They go through some dry spells. They give their opponent opportunity, and they crawl right back in this game. Will TCU if they can find 7.
Duggan looked to throw. Now he'll run. He breaks into open space and has a first down, sliding across the 35.
This kid is fast, man. And, you know, we talk about them freshmen on the TCU side defensively pulling the trigger to play fast, and I like this tempo, too. As they're going to come right back to the line of scrimmage. Sonny Cumbie's got a speedster quarterback.
He's got Valence Hunt. Juggled and caught it. Got a first down inside the 20. So here come the Horned Frogs. 18 more to the sophomore Hunt.
And it really has been Duggan's speed and tempo. And then this, not an easy catch. Cut about 7 different times to Mr. Hunt before he finally corrals it.
I'll pad the stats. A few rebounds. Yeah.
And I like the mix of tempo. Something that Sonny Cumbie said he was going to do. Times get right up to the line of scrimmage. Other times huddle up, make sure everyone, especially in the red zone, an area of struggle for TCU, is on the same page.
Yeah, just 2 of 6 last week, turning red zone trips into touchdowns. First down from the 19. It is Duggan. He's got room again, and he slides again. He'll be spotted where the slide began, so it's a gain of 6.
It's again Kenneth Murray that time, a little over pursuant for Alex Grinch's defense. A very active crew, man. They love to fly around. And if you can do what TCU has done on the last couple drives, and that's get them going one way, you have an opportunity with a kid like Duggan with his quickness to take advantage on the backside.
You know, Oklahoma fans and fans across the country are saying, here they go again.
Yep.
Play clock winding down. 2nd down 5. They just get it off. Olanalua cutting to the outside, shedding a tackle, lowering the shoulder and getting close to a 1st down. They do spot him with enough. 1st and goal, TCU.
I'll tell you what else this does. A little bit to Bruce Feldman's report about that defense on the other side. Now Alex Grinch's crew is on their heels, and Gary Patterson's Horned Frogs can gather themselves. And after 3 drives and giving up 3 touchdowns, they get the 3 and out, or they get the takeaway. The offense 1st and goal inside the 10.
Anderson. Stopped by Motley. 2nd and goal. This is a 21-0 game. Sonny Cumbie's team hadn't gotten a 1st down yet. And then Max Duggan breaks off that 59-yard run. They score 2 plays later. They force the turnover, and they're knocking on the door again with a chance to get to within a score.
And watch QB draw. They really wanted to use Max legs down in the red zone. Felt like that could be a factor tonight.
He looks to throw. He's got an open man, but couldn't hang on. Artavius Lynn scored his 1st career touchdown last week. Should have had a 2nd here.
Yeah, and this was a fastball, and it's going to come fast down in the red zone. A really good route. You see the rub concept there. Duggan has to throw it high. Kenneth Murray is right in the passing lane right there. And that's when you'd sure love to see the big tight end be able to go down and corral. I love that encouragement. Sonny probably telling him, I'm going to come back to you at some point in this game.
3rd and goal after the drop. Only a 3-man rush. Duggan scrambling to his right, across his body into a tight window. Incomplete. Looking for Pro Wells. Tried to thread it through there, couldn't quite get it to Wells. And 4th and goal coming up. Field goal team coming out.
Exhale for Alex Grinch. I think exhale for Sonny Cumbie and Gary Patterson as well, because that was danger zone. Anytime the field shrinks like that, and Pat Fields has a chance as Max throws it back across his body. It's amazing what a dual threat quarterback can do, right? To just energize and breathe life into your offense.
Jonathan Song. We've got 2 really good kickers in this game between Burkich and Song. Song now 22 of 23 this season. So Oklahoma can clinch a spot in the Big 12 championship against Baylor with a win tonight. Dominant in the 1st quarter. 2nd quarter, though, is all TCU, which tries to reach bowl eligibility and tries to pull off a big come-from-behind win tonight. It's back on Fox College Football, powered by Ram Trucks, built to serve. And here in Norman, we get ready for the 2nd half. But first, look at our Geico 1st half stats. Really, you could break it down to the first 2 quarters. It was all Oklahoma in the 1st, outgaining them 196-3, and flipped in a big way in the 2nd quarter. TCU finds a way to get back into the game. Joe and Brock, and man, for Oklahoma, it's a different week, same story.
It really is. It was 2 halves a week ago in Waco. We were here 2 weeks ago, up 35-14, and the Cyclones come storming back. I think for Oklahoma to get the ball here to begin the 2nd half, you got to get Jalen back in rhythm, right? When the Cyclones took advantage in the 2nd half, it was really what TCU did right there, and that's drop 8, make him think, make him hold the ball. And I think if you're Lincoln Riley, get back to what you did in that 1st quarter. You run first, and then get the ball out of Jalen's hands, find him completions. Right, that first quarter, and Bruce had a great, report down on the sidelines that they were just scrambling. Right, as much uncertainty as you've ever felt with a Gary Patterson team, and I think they settled down, put their cleats in the ground, played just a much more fundamental second quarter.
A hooking line drive of a kick. TJ Pledger with a good return across the 40. Down to Bruce Feldman.
Guys, Gary Patterson said, you know what, we don't need to adjust our signals or anything. We need to tackle. Once we started tackling in the second quarter, they couldn't move the ball. On the other side, Lincoln Riley said he really wants them to get back to running it the way they did in the first quarter. That's when things were moving, and he said it's critical that we win the turnover battle in the second half.
They racked up a lot of those rushing yards in that first quarter. In total, Bruce, 25 rushes for 151 yards for the Sooners, who had touchdowns on each of their first 3 drives. But after that, average only about 2 yards per play. Brooks again hit in the backfield. D. Winters, get credit for the tackle along with Vernon Scott.
It's a nice job. You've called D. Winters' name a couple different times. Number 13 there for TCU. He's a converted wide receiver. I mean, he was really an all-conference receiver. He's only 190 pounds that's having to play there amidst a lot of big boys for Oklahoma. But if you're quicker and you play downhill, you've got an opportunity to find those tackles.
Out of tiny Burton, Texas, Gary Patterson loves converting those skill guys to linebacker. Hurts out the back door, finds an opening, and gets tripped up by Winters again. And if Winters didn't get him, that was going to be a big gainer for Hurts. Instead, it's 3rd and short.
That's a cool little wrinkle right there, too. Right, see the pulling guards in front. And Jalen Hurts, like he's done all season long, man, he gets going north and south in a hurry.
Sooners converted 3rd and 10 already on this drive. On 3rd and short, to look to throw. Steps up, lofts it down the field for Lamb, and incomplete. He had beaten Gladney. We've seen Hurts miss a few downfield shots today. It's 4th and 3.
Yeah, and similarly here, I mean, this is exactly what you want. This is your best player. There's good on good. But what you need to do here is just put air on the ball. I mean, you throw that anywhere but overthrow CD. He's going to go get it for you. He's going to fight through contact. That's just, you're just not giving your weapon an opportunity to make you look good.
Converted 3rd down earlier tonight. They've converted 6 or 4th down earlier tonight. They've converted 6 of 7 4th down opportunities this year.
Trying to be too fine. Just allow your difference makers to help you.
And TCU clearly thinking pass here. Only 4 in the box. Hurts scanning the field. Slips and falls, and TCU will take over in Oklahoma territory. Those feet gave out, and Gary Patterson's team gets a stop to open the second half. First drive of the second half for TCU. They went 3 and out on each of their first 4 possessions, then averaged 10 yards per play and pulling back into the game.
Yeah, number 15 had a lot to do with that, as he started to utilize one of his great gifts, and that's his quickness and speed.
Ran for 81 yards in that first half as TCU scored on each of its last 2 legitimate possessions. Clock ran out after a couple plays on their final one. Looking to throw on first down, and on the slant it's behind Jalen Reagor, who's still searching for his first catch tonight.
One of the things I love, sorry Joe, is look at Gary Patterson here. This is a 4th down play, and unlike the other ones where he just dropped 3, he's going to bring 4. But in so doing, you tell me where Jalen could go with this ball. There is nobody. That is Gary Patterson to a T defeating your play. Feeling like his personnel, his defensive call, mano a mano with that coordinator on the other side, advantage Gary Patterson on that critical 4th down.
Back-to-back pass plays to open the half. Duggan stands in for a moment. Now flush down the sideline. Back shoulder for Darius Anderson, and he brings it in for a first down.
Yeah. I think he has control. I think that's good in the NFL as he toe tapped even that right foot in bounds here.
I don't know. I think there's a juggle here, but does he recapture it?
I think he does while he's dragging that right toe. And those are just the little plays that Max Duggan makes that most true freshmen don't. Keeping plays alive.
They let it go. Duggan steps up. He wants Barber. End zone, lays out. Incomplete. working against the safety Fields.
But I think Tay just loses his feet at the very end here. Otherwise, this is his first touchdown of the year. I mean, he's done a lot of things remarkably well. Third down conversions, big plays. His legs, he just loses them at the very tail end. And Duggan thought for sure when he let that ball go, it was 6.
Yeah, one of the many things he's done, like you said, he's done so many things, but he's made acrobatic catches. There's few games since getting healthy.
I always tell you to run through that reception, and I think his legs just ran out of gas.
Here's Duggan to run. It's a block in front. It's ridden down from behind by Kenneth Murray, but sets up a very manageable third down, which is something that they didn't visit over the first quarter of this game at all.
And I promise you, the senior Kenneth Murray is going, man, this dude is fast. Like, I've watched the tape of him, and he's busting angles and busting ankles on the other side. But until you play it, you just don't know the game speed. I mean, 40 speed is one thing, and this guy is a workout warrior, but he plays just as fast with the pads on, if not faster.
You've been able to tell watching some of the angles look so poor from Oklahoma. 3rd and 3 for TCU, one of the best third down teams in the country this year. 0 for 5 so far tonight. It's a trick play in the hands of Jalen Reagor. Reagor with room. He's got a first down inside the 20 and close to the 10. Still looking for his first catch of the game, so they're finding other ways to get his speed involved.
And who sets the edge? The true freshman quarterback on the defensive end, Ronnie Perkins, right there. That block, again, enables Reagor with that elite speed to just break that angle of Kenneth Murray. Quarterbacks love that, by the way. Get an opportunity to do that on tape. Sonny Cumbie, former quarterback, he knows it. This kid from Iowa is rock solid tough, coming back, peeling back on the defensive end.
Spotted it just outside the 10, so they can get a first down here. 1st and 10 from the 11. Seeing a bunch of speed option tonight. It's Duggan again, fighting his way into the goal line. Still fighting. They push him. He's in. What do we have here? The Horned Frogs charging back to within a score.
What do we got here? We got a true freshman that won't be denied, and his teammates know it. And they feel it. And watch the Horned Frogs come in. Look at Owanalua. Look at McKinney. Look at those guys in the legs of the true freshman looking Jalen Hurts-esque. Never stopping, carrying multiple Sooners into the pay dirt.
Now 89 yards rushing for Duggan. He gets his 6th rushing touchdown of the season.
There's something about playing a superstar on the other side. When you're a true freshman and you're playing against a Heisman contender that elevates everybody around him, you want to take your swings, take your opportunities, and Sonny Cumbie calling it up for the freshman. It's weird, Joe, just watching some of this tape right now. He's faster than a fast defense. In Oklahoma, you can question some of their size and maybe their hitting, but Ryan Jones and Deshaun White, Pat Fields, these guys can go, and right now they can catch Max Duggan.
TJ Pledger returned it across the 40 to open the half. Another good return here, stumbling his way to the 35. The other side of the story is Oklahoma going through another one of those lapses offensively, which we've seen each of the last few games. Drive begins with a Kennedy Brooks run and a gaping hole off the left side for a big play that sends him into Horned Frog territory. Brooks for 32 yards, his longest rush tonight.
Well, there is the big back, Ramondre Stevenson, acting as the fullback, 29. Look at him leading the way there in the big fellas. Your left guard, your left tackle, Proctor and Hayes, just get a body on a body. And if you let these Sooners get to some green grass, they're going to do some damage.
Brooks moves over 100 yards against TCU team that he had a huge game against last year in Fort Worth. Stevenson, who was the lead blocker last time, takes the fake here, and Ardarius Washington drops Hurts.
Ardarius had a nice game. And he's playing because of Ennis Gaines' injury has slid Vernon Scott over a little more in that nickel role. And Ardarius, saw him in the elevator. He's 175 pounds. He is not a big Horned Frog. He's got a big heart. And he's willing to stick his head in there.
Freshman from Shreveport, 3rd consecutive start because of those injuries you're talking about. On 2nd and 11, Hurts to run again. Got a block from Brooks to swing him free for a first down inside the 20. Winters brings him down after 19.
Yeah, that's been the difference on a couple of these runs. It's not just toting the ball. You're going to be a lead back sometimes, and that's exactly what Kennedy Brooks is. He takes the fake, and then he's really the fullback leading the way here for the tailback, and Hurts. Been a little bit of an adjustment on this drive, right? That chess match, that back and forth between Lincoln and Gary. That X's and O's battle, a bunch of the two-back, been pretty successful here on this possession for the Sooners.
So they stick with it. Stevenson and Brooks both in there. They got Rambo back there as well, motioning him out. Here comes Brooks. Chopped down by Nook Bradford. When we talk about the lapses, overall this is one of the best offenses in the country. But you look at the last 3 games where the defense has struggled. Well, the offense has had long stretches in each of those 3 games when they've disappeared. Second and third quarters, no touchdowns against Kansas State. 7 points in the second half against Iowa State. And then no touchdowns over the first 25 minutes against Baylor last week. This week, touchdowns on each of the first 3 drives, looking for their first one since. They've got it first and goal with another Hurts run.
Well, we know one thing. When their backs are against the wall, what do they typically like to go to? It is this. I mean, this is just triple option football, right? You just got a couple backs in the backfield. You're motioning some people out. You're leading with your backs. And that is the talent, I think, of Lincoln Riley in the depth and the volume of that playbook. If it's going to be a spread it out game and pitch and catch, that's fine. If you got to get back to it when your back's against the wall and just run right at you, capable of doing that too.
And I said first and goal, Brock, but they actually spot him about a foot short. So this is 3rd and less than 1. Hurts again. This time he's got a first down. Charging for the goal line. Showing off some strength of his own. Touchdown Oklahoma. Ball came out, but after he broke the plane. We got 2 quarterbacks that are really strong. Couple Popeyes at quarterback.
You sure do. And watch 56 Creed Humphrey right here. He's going to see Jalen Hurts. And that whole Bush push thing, right? It may have been illegal years ago or controversial. Not anymore, man. You have the opportunity to come to the aid of your teammate, and you give Jalen Hurts any kind of assist. Touchdown. And that's number 4 now on the night for Jalen Hurts, which is pretty close to a season average.
You said when they start to feel like they need something, that is what they do. 6 plays, 66 yards, all on the ground. They pound away and get the lead back to 2 scores here in the 3rd. Well, Hurts and the Sooners had it rolling early tonight. Touchdowns in each of their first 3 drives. Then they went quiet, didn't do anything for 4 drives. And marched down the field there, 66 yards all on the ground. Jalen Hurts making some history tonight. Through 11 games, one of 3 players in NCAA history with 3,000 passing yards and 1,000 rushing yards. Joining a couple Heisman winners in Johnny Manziel and Lamar Jackson.
Joe, he has 47 touchdowns now on the season.
That's good.
There are going to be a lot of schools that never hit that mark on the season.
Right. Chiro Alalua elects to bring this one back. As big of a kick returner as you're ever going to see. Rumbling his way to the 35, out to the 37. Instead of a punt, the offense stays out there. 1st and 10, 48-yard line. Duggan zips it. Rager able to squeeze it, working against Trey Brown, and here's Bruce.
Guys, about a month ago, Max Duggan really outshined another star Big 12 quarterback, Sam Ehlinger. And when you talk to Sonny Cumbie, he said the thing that really stands out about this kid, and he's been around a lot of big-time quarterbacks. Remember, he was at Tech when Baker Mayfield was a freshman there. He helped recruit Patrick Mahomes, and he said the thing that these guys all have is when you watch them, it's like they go full bore all the time, and there's a real drive and a competitiveness, and we're seeing that out here again tonight from Max Duggan.
Converted with the handoff to Alalua. Now floating it. Wants it all with Rager, but a little bit out of his reach. Brown in coverage. 2nd and 10.
Boy, and we've seen a couple things here from both Hurts and Duggan. As you see Brown coming up a little limp here, and that could bring the true freshman Jaden Davis into the game. But you've seen both quarterbacks on these shots right here. When your receivers win and they stack and get on top of that corner, just put air on the ball. You just don't have to be perfect in that moment. There could be pass interference, especially as talented as C.D. Lamb or Jalen Reagor. Just give them an opportunity to help you out.
Looking at 2nd and 15 here. In trouble, able to scramble free and get a few.
Oof, and he takes a shot, Joe. And there is very little sidelines here before you run right into the bench. Ooh. That is awfully close here with Kenneth Murray and that little shove. And whether or not that shove was before quarterback goes out of bounds, you typically see QB's protected and that penalty flag come out.
Not here. 3rd and 12. Oklahoma rushes 4. Duggan in rhythm to Valence Hunt. Drops the ball. Had he caught it, would have been one-on-one with the undersized freshman Jaden Davis. But he drops it, and it's 4th and 12.
This is the sophomore who's got to grow in this way. We saw him earlier, right? He bobbled it about 5 different times, and that's a young player that's got to learn, just like the freshman throwing it to him. You've got to just do the basics. You got to catch it first before you ever look to run. And a couple missed opportunities there by TCU that when you're playing in this building, and as good as these guys are, and if you don't take advantage of it, you typically don't find ways to win, especially in November.
Even if he doesn't pick up the first down, you're probably going to see a 4th down attempt. Instead, here comes Jordy Sandy. Lamb signals for the fair catch, and Oklahoma will have it at the 8. Oh, a few things Oklahoma's hoping for. First and foremost, that they win out. Then that the top 3 teams all win out. And they're hoping Oregon loses to Arizona State tonight. They currently trail 21-7.
There's a reason teams have not gone 9-0 since the expansion to the Pac-12 and have an unblemished season as Oregon is striving to do. It is hard.
Trying to get C.D. Lamb to the edge. They do. He hits the sideline, and a big gain on 1st down to get him some breathing room. Speaking to that Arizona State-Oregon game, here's Amber Theo-Harris.
Joe, we have an upset brewing in the desert. Big trouble for number 6 Oregon, fighting for a playoff spot, but Arizona State's Jaden Daniels, the 26-yard touchdown pass to Frank Darby. 2-point conversion is good. It's 21-7 Sun Devils in the 4th, and right now ASU is threatening again 3rd and goal. Joe and Brock.
Wow. So of course the hope for Oklahoma there would be that Oregon loses and then beats Utah in the conference championship game.
Knocked both of them out.
Brooks straight ahead. Slips the tackle to Winters. Can't get away from Bradford.
Now that Oregon team had showed so much poise this year, unlike a year ago. A year ago they had a big win, and then they went to Wazoo and lost, and went to the desert and lost. And this year, well, they went up to Washington and won. They went to USC and won. But you just wondered, could they do it again? Wow, that's a brave soul right there here in Norman, Oklahoma.
Watching the game on his phone too, I think. They've been given updates on the stadium video board here. And the crowd cheering along with it as if it was the game in front of them. Off play action. Hurts on the roll. Wide open. Lee Morris over the middle for a 1st down. 26 yards.
That is such a cool play, and this is a play that TCU actually calls sooner. That is a shallow cross. Gary was talking about it last night. He said, we know it's coming. We've actually named this route sooner, where they fake the shallow cross and then go vertical. And once again, takes advantage of the Horned Frogs, splitting that defense right down the middle.
Oklahoma riding the ground game, trying to stem the tide with this charge from TCU. We go to the 4th in Norman, 28-17, Oklahoma. Oklahoma riding the ground game. 13 of the last 14 plays have been runs. They're knocking on the door trying to extend this lead. Trying to punch their ticket to the Big 12 championship game. Off play action. Hurts looking downfield. He'll tuck it and take off. And get hit from behind by Gladney, but not before he gets 9.
What is it? 14 of their last 15 now? Wow. Game gets close. Take a few punches from TCU. The young freshman carries some Sooners into the end zone. And here's a little statement of response that this is, you know, maybe not as much through the air, but this is a Bill Beatenbow kind of game. That is the O-line coach that loves to say he wants to feel the opponent's soul wilt. And it's both the lineman, it's the quarterback, and it's your running backs who are making it happen.
Brooks has had a big night. He's got a first down here.
And so often it's easy to look at the 5 linemen, and Creed Humphrey's a fun guy to watch, the center, number 56. They replaced everybody else around him. I got to tell you, the last 15 minutes of game action, it's been just as much about Jeremiah Hall, Ramondre Stevenson, Kennedy Brooks, all those guys coming right to the side of those 5 offensive linemen.
Such an O-lineman coach quote, feel your soul wilt. O-line coach or a D coordinator.
Yep.
Come from one of the two. 1st and 10 inside 14 minutes. TCU's got to look at this and say we've got to put our foot down and force a field goal, or else it becomes a 3-score game. That flutters and gets almost picked by D. Winters. That would have been even better for the Horned Frogs, as it was hit in the air by the freshman Mathis.
Wow. O'Shawn gets his hands up. And the true freshman, I told you, D. Winters was a receiver in high school, over 1,000 yards receiving. Can't believe the ball is up in the air, and he also can't believe he doesn't secure that takeaway.
Looked like a sure thing he was going to catch it. The question was, is he going to stay on his feet and score? But instead, Lincoln Riley and the Sooners avoid disaster there. Live to see 2nd and 10. Back to the ground. It's Brooks. Crunched at the 7 by Merrig. So 3rd down coming here, Brock.
Just listen to this shot. These Horned Frogs may be undersized, but they fly the ball.
3rd and 5. The field goal would keep the game at 2 scores. Touchdown would open it up here in the 4th.
See the emotion.
Joining Stogner and Hall. Hurts throws an interception. It's Vernon Scott. Scott with wheels. Vernon Scott across midfield. He's gonna go. A game-changing pick 6. 97-yard return, and instead of falling behind by 3 scores, TCU back to within 1 score.
So you heard me say, here comes CD in motion. You know what that was to a well-coached team? That was an alarm for these guys. And look at the zone coverage here. Once CD comes in motion, you're going to jump that route right there. Man, that is so well done. You are anticipating that route, and you jump it. Does Vernon Sr. He makes the play, keeps his feet, and it's a house call. That only happens, Joe, if you have an awareness of the route, of who's coming in motion, of what they like to do off that concept, and then pull the trigger, make the play.
First defensive touchdown of the season for the Horned Frogs, and it is 28-24 as the senior from Mansfield, Texas, makes one of the biggest plays of his Horned Frog career. (28-24), and boy, I think we all need one of those right now.
That soul that was wilting under all that heavy run, I think was just uplifted by one of the longest interception returns in TCU history. And for Jalen, you're going to see here, he tried to play with anticipation, but CD actually loses his feet just a step and gives Vernon Scott the opportunity for the deep play.
So a 4-point game as the Sooners get ready to get it again, and they'll have it from the 25-yard line. Brooks into the arms of Washington, finishes forward for 4.
And that's a lot of different guys, right? That's a lot of different quarterbacks and receivers and everybody. That is the culture of your place. I mean, that is extraordinary to go back to 2014, I believe, a game you called. If my memory serves me right, with the Baylor Bears. It's been a long, long time, and a lot of gutsy moments where your back's against the wall, where you have to overcome some negative plays, and this Sooner culture has done so.
Kind of flipped around this week from last week when they dug out of the 28-3 hole. They led this one 21-0. Brooks with a jump cut, sticks the shoulder down and has a first down. And very quietly today, Brock, more than 140 yards for Kennedy Brooks.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of them just like that where Ramondre Stevenson is ear-holing an extra TCU defender. Be it the DN Colt Ellison, be it the linebacker Garrett Wallow. These two backs are playing off one another really well. And again, to me, just speaks to that culture that you got to be willing. If you're going to tote it, you got to be willing to block as well, and these backs doing so.
Brooks leaves. Stevenson comes on, doing some of that selfless work, blocking. Here he earns a carry. And gets 3. Trayvon Merrick, the tackle.
This is where you also got to hope, if you're Bill Bedenbaugh, you're in the ear of Lincoln Riley a little bit, like, hey, man, keep leaning into us. Like all of these body blows, all of these runs, and tell me that doesn't look like the perfect O-line coach. I mean, you drop an O-line coach, and Creed Humphrey is probably the perfect center that fits it. And if you're those guys right now, you're saying, put this game on me, man. I got a freshman linebacker, a redshirt freshman. I got young guys, and all of these body blows that you've thrown over the course of 50 minutes, you want to go finish out the knockout.
49 of the 70 plays tonight runs for Oklahoma. Here's another with Hurts. Waits for the hole to develop and sets up 3rd and short. Ardarius Washington, another TCU tackle. That is his 12th. Third down and a long one for Oklahoma. 9:20 left to go in a 4-point game.
Here comes that 2-back look once again. It has been so heavy run here in the second half for the Sooners.
Hurts keeps it. A first down to the 40. So you've got both Brooks and Hurts, 22 carries tonight.
Look at Ramondre Stevenson. I've said his name about 8 different times. Watch this collision. Bam! I mean, that is leading the way. That is what we call in the old school ISO. Right, that's an ISO run. That could be Tom Rathman back in the day playing fullback. Put a 44 on him, and you lead right into that middle linebacker and allow your quarterback to run right behind you.
And no slouch that he's blocking there. That's the second leading tackler in the conference in Garrett Wallow. Wallow this time finishes the job on Brooks. Inside 8.5. Second down coming up.
Look at these guys. I mean, you're giving up 20, 30 pounds. Right, Garrett Wallow is a converted safety that is so athletic. Ardarius Washington is 170 pounds. These are the guys that are coming up time and time. Nook Bradford's a true freshman that is having to take on this contact.
You wonder how long they can last. I mean, they've been out there a lot. Hurts cuts it upfield. Got a first down. Makes a man miss. Breaking ankles and setting up 1st and goal. The ball came out. Now a signal. Was the ball out before he was down? The officials still haven't given an official signal. Nook Bradford. Did he get it out of there? Boy, it is going to be close. The key thing is going to be, what is the official call on the field? We're still waiting on that.
Ruling on the field was a fumble recovered by the defense. First down TCU. That ruling of a fumble is under review.
And so Nook Bradford just takes it away from Jalen Hurts.
It's first down TCU.
And it does. And so a 7:51 to go. TCU's got it. So the Horned Frogs have it at their own 7. And the true freshman quarterback, Max Duggan, on 1st and 10, runs the option. Gets it off to Anderson, who's pushed out by Murray.
Let me just say, that play by Nook Bradford, I don't want just like let it pass.
Yeah.
All the time we spend, fumble or no fumble. As a true freshman, that was an unbelievable play against a Heisman contending senior quarterback for Nook Bradford to go rip it away and to give yet another true freshman an opportunity to respond. Wow.
That play clock winding down. They're going to have to burn a timeout. Well, there's not been a timeout used, but there's not been a delay of game called either. Not sure exactly what's going on here. Okay, so we're being told there are problems with the chains. It's a delay game on the chains. Everybody else, you're good. 2nd and 10. Duggan takes off and got pulled down. It was Ronnie Perkins when Oklahoma needed him last week late making plays, and he makes one here to make it 3rd down.
This place coming alive. This is the loudest we've heard it 2 times we've been here.
Well, 2 weeks ago, this place was half empty when they needed it down the stretch against Iowa State. Lincoln Riley said something about that this week, that they're a different team when they have this place full-throated behind them. They do here. On 3rd and 10 against a 3-man rush. Duggan with time. He'll check it down. Alana Lua juggles and drops an incomplete.
Do your job, only your job, and you cut it loose. And Alex Grinch now in a 3rd and extra long just rushes 3. This is the right play by the true freshman. Alana Lua is going to have to break that tackle. He can feel both Radley Hiles and Kenneth Murray converging on him. Never completes the catch, and what a response by an Oklahoma defense to get a critical 3 and out.
So Sandy has to punt out of his own end zone. CeeDee Lamb back around midfield waiting on him. Oklahoma sets up a return for the dangerous number 2, retreating to his own 40. Lamb can't get away. That's another freshman in Travius Hodges Tomlinson. Jalen Hurts trying to overcome a couple of more turnovers. As Sooners up 4, 6:34 left.
You see the communication with Stevenson, 29, with the O-line, communicating who he's going to block.
Brooks couldn't find much of a hole. Parker Workman tackles him. Clock winding near 5:20. 2nd down coming here. TCU trying to do the unthinkable. Their true freshman quarterback Max Duggan hoping for another opportunity as they look for their first top 10 road win since 2011, before they joined the Big 12 when they beat 5th-ranked Boise State.
Look at all those Horned Frogs near the line of scrimmage.
On 2nd and 5, it is Hurts getting a block from Brooks. 3rd down 5 coming up as Wyatt Harris gets the tackle.
This is enormous. That's about 2 minutes of time of possession. If the best 3rd down offense in America can find a way to stay on the field right now, or you start to force Gary Patterson to think about using these.
6 of 11 on 3rd down so far tonight. 3rd and 5 for the Sooners.
Just a 3-man front.
And just 3 to snap it. They get it off. Can Hurts make a play against a blitz? Not going to get there. 4th down and 1. What are you doing if you're Lincoln Riley?
Going.
He sends the bigger running back, Ramondre Stevenson, back in there. And he will go for it inside 4 minutes on 4th down and 1. 79 plays to 41 for TCU, outgaining them by more than 300 yards. The turnovers the difference. Trying to keep this drive alive on 4th and 1. Both Brooks and Stevenson back there with Jalen Hurts. It's Stevenson powering his legs. It'll depend on the spot. He needed just shy of the 40.
and he ran smack dab unblocked into the two middle linebackers.
TCU has slammed the door and gets it back with 3:16.
And you run smack dab into two unblocked middle linebackers. I don't care how powerful you are, how strong you are. Those two Horned Frogs pin their ears back. Dualo and Harrison make the tackle. Those guys have been on the field so much. But give Gary Patterson's crew and the guts of that defense to step up and respond a ton of credit.
Somehow TCU with the ball with a chance to win this game. 3:16 left to go. Oklahoma shows pressure and brings it against the freshman Duggan. Tries to beat it. One-on-one. Over the top and incomplete, but a flag. Wanted Jalen Reagor. Parnell Motley grabbed a hold of him, and he'll get flagged.
And I'll tell you what, Joe Davis, I would throw that guy 3 more times. My best player, Jalen Reagor.
Pass interference, defense, number 11, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Oklahoma is a base, what you call quarters team, which really leaves those corners out on an island in a one-on-one situation, and I'm going at him. And you can see it all the way, and he's grabbing his arm. He impedes Reagor's opportunity. You can hand fight, but you hold on like that while falling down, you're going to draw that 15-yard penalty.
The Sooners have seen this movie before, but they were on the other side of it last week in Waco. The biggest comeback win in program history, from down 28-3 to win 34-31. They led this game 21-0. Penalty moves it to the 44. Option play. Duggan into the arms of Neville Gallimore. He lost a yard.
Yeah, you get so many bites at the apple here, right? There's only so many number of plays in the final 3 minutes. I want my one-on-ones outside. I want to attack a true freshman corner in Jane Davis. If I'm Sonny Cumbie and could get in his ear, I want my freshman quarterback in those one-on-ones on the perimeter to take my chances there rather than running at Neville Gallimore or those guys inside.
The slant, it's Hunt. Had a couple of drops tonight. Hangs on to this one. 3rd down, 2:22 and counting.
Who's going to win their one-on-one battles? The ultimate team game is going to come down to these one-on-one situations.
Third and 6. Duggan back to throw. He's flushed out of the pocket. He's in trouble. Lets it go incomplete. 4th and 6 with 1:47.
Yeah, and Reagor is clamoring for a penalty. He is jumping up and down. He wants a hold on his comeback route here. One-on-one against Motley. Is he deserving of the call? I don't think so. Some contact, got to let him play in that moment.
4th and 6. Can the freshman make a play? He's given time. That ball is intercepted by Radley Hiles.
Bookie!
With 1:41 left. The Horned Frogs all 3 timeouts. But Radley Hiles coming up with the interception at right about the same spot of the field that they picked off Charlie Brewer late last week.
Giving up about 6 inches on Pro Wells, the wide receiver. Right in the middle here. This is the matchup TCU wants. Max is just a tad late. The ball's got to be out sooner. It's a little late, and it allows Radley Hiles to make the play of his career as a Sooner. Just the 2nd pick in 2 years for the former 5-star recruit who has taken a ton of heat, and Max knew it the minute he was just a whisper late. Allowed Radley Hiles to change some of the narrative about his season this year as he comes through in the clutch.
You saw Wyatt Harris going over there saying to Max Duggan, keep your head up. We're going to try and get you another shot here.
They got all 3 timeouts. What a valuable learning lesson, man. This place is rocking. right? We talk about anticipation for quarterbacks of getting the ball out just a hair late. Bradley Hiles makes them pay.
First down run for Brooks. Gary Patterson will use the first of those 3 timeouts. Second down. Hurts keeps it. Waited for it to develop. Lowered the shoulder and got close. Harris and Washington combining the tackle. TCU uses its second timeout. It'll be 3rd and 1. They're down 1. All but sealed the deal by picking up a yard right here.
This got to be in number 1's hand. Period. End of story.
Running back in there with him is Ramondre Stevenson. It is Hurts. He's stacked up initially and not going to get it. TCU uses its final timeout. How about the defensive performance from Gary Patterson's unit following the first 3 drives of this game?
You know, we had not called Ross Blacklock's name hardly at all. He's battling a shoulder. He's been battling it all year. And for him to sift through.
They actually marked it a first down.
Wow. Wow.
To the enjoyment and surprise of much of the crowd.
Not to his enjoyment at all. Let's take a look at this. You're going to see Blacklock. He's going to sift through on that stunt.
Ruling on the field was forward progress for a first down. That ruling is under review.
Not by the yellow line we have on our screen, which, you know, is not official.
Let's see the ball ever get close.
After reviewing the play, ruling of a first down stands as called.
Just not enough there to change it. And Oklahoma is a minute 18 away from a trip to the Big 12 championship.
I think there's a whole lot of folks that just went like this. Including number 1 right there. Yeah, I don't think he was buying that one for a second.
So Hurts takes a knee. I mean, look, the conversation shifts back to Oklahoma in the college football playoff picture. They're going to get something they desperately needed tonight. That is a loss from one of the Pac-12 teams. Oregon falls 31-28 to Arizona State. So they continue to hope that they take care of business. Bedlam next week. Big 12 championship against Baylor after. And then there'll be huge Oregon fans against Utah.
And you're going to put them ahead of a 2-loss Penn State. So they're going to climb up to 7 in the polls.
The road ahead, sponsored by Coors Light, made to chill, celebrate responsibly. Then they need the top 3 teams right now, all unbeaten, to stay that way. The big one being they need LSU to win the SEC championship, keep Georgia out of the picture. 28-24, looked like was going to be a runaway victory for Lincoln Riley and the Sooners. Turns into a tight one, 28-24, but they will head back to the Big 12 championship.
2 men that got an awful lot of respect. One's an offensive guy, one's a defensive guy, and that might as well have been an old school game here played in Norman some 50 years ago with that Sooner brand of football.
Bruce Feldman has Lincoln Riley.
All right, Coach, we know about how great this offense has been the last few years. You got some big stops in the 4th quarter from your defense. What do you say about how that group responded tonight?
They did. I mean, held TCU to 200 yards, made up for some of our offensive turnovers. We took care of each other as a team. We didn't play perfect, but the sides of the ball stepped up when they needed to, especially our defense there in the end. You
had told me how critical it was going to be in the second half to win the turnover battle. What do you make of how this played out?
Yeah, disappointing because they were all on promising drives. All 3 turnovers were, and certainly were kind of what made this thing close. But that's the game. Give TCU credit and give our kids credit for overcoming it.
This is like the 3rd or 4th week in a row. You guys have had wild roller coaster rides. What did you learn about these guys?
Yeah, it's a Big 12, man. The league's really good this year. We're finding a way to win tough games. We're going to try to keep on winning.
All right, thanks, Coach. Guys?
All right, 16th consecutive home win, and as you saw, the 400th in the stadium's history back to 1923. Sooners are 10-1. They're 7-1 in the conference. They're headed back to the conference championship game. More to come here in Norman on the other side of this break on Fox.